Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back. This is part 2 of going back to school for computer science in 2020. I'm Nikolai518. Let's get it started. First thing you need is $100. Go ahead and transfer $100 from checkings to savings. You're gonna need it. You may need to take a bus, you may need gas, application fees to just kind of, see a guidance counselor and get a breakdown, probably like $50. Transcripts sometimes cost a little bit of money too, so let's talk about that. A transcript is a document that shows the classes you completed and your grades for the class. That's applicable to high school, community college, or any other university or college that you went to. You must get a transcript for every class that you completed. It's extremely important. So call your high school, say, my name is, first name Nikolai, last name 518. I went here, I graduated this year. They're going to be like, all right, two choices. You can either come down and pick it up, or we can mail it to you. Either way, it's going to be a couple of days to prepare those documents. So start the process now. Secondly, call your doctor's office. You're going to need a physical, and you're going to need to get some vaccinations. In order to even step foot on the campus, you have to submit an immunization form, which is essentially, I have these shots, I'm vaccinated, I'm safe to be around the general population. Every student has to do that. It's kind of I'm safe to be around you guys, and you guys are safe to be around me. And I don't know about y'all, but when I set up a doctor's appointment, it takes at least 2 weeks. So you're going to need to get that cooking too. If you are thinking about going for computer science, buy this book, read it, and do the problems. This is literally the book I used for school, Intro to Computer Science. And Data Structures, the second part. First week of class, my professor was like, buy the book, start reading it, do the problems. If I had this book before I started college, I would have blown through this book, did every single problem, and I would have been so much better off. They go at a fast pace, and I don't want the very first time you see programming or you're trying to learn programming to be in class. There's some concepts that are very hard to grasp. Sometimes you need to do things 5, 6, 10, 15 times to really understand what's going on. It's learning a new language. If you can learn Java or C, that would be great. You can also go to a couple different websites. CodeCademy is a good one. I prefer Progate.com. It's like $10 or $15 to subscribe a month. They have a ton of courses. Super cool. I'll have that link down below. That is the one I would choose. The developers are just really cool. If you reach out to them on Twitter, they'll get back to you. Overall, just real cool people, real cool website. Brush up on your math. Let me move my my webcam a little bit. If you're easily disturbed, you may not want to see this. This is the unit circle. This thing right here, this is super important. You use this in pre-calc. You use this in Calculus 1. You use this in Calculus 2. Aside from this, sine, cosine, tangent, SOHCAHTOA, TOA, you need to brush up on that stuff. If you can learn and memorize this now before you even get to school, you're going to be so much better off. Trust me. I know this sounds crazy, and I know you're like, really? I need to memorize all this? There are little tips and tricks that you can do. A quick one, right? Look, this is reflected over here. It's the same numbers here and here, just negated, right? 2 over 2, 2 over 2, same thing, just negated here. There's a lot of different ways. Pretty much if you can memorize one quadrant, you can flip it or reflect it over, and that's how you can find certain degrees or radians or whatever the question asks. Lastly, this is like day one stuff, pre-calc. So if you've been out of school for a while, brush up on this stuff. Fractions. How do you even divide fractions? I had no idea. There's a rule called keep, change, flip. So you're going to keep the first one, so 3/4, I just brought it down. Change the sign from division to multiplication, and flip. So instead of 1/2, I have 2 over 1. And then I cross-reduced. So your answer is 3/2. That's day one stuff. So if that makes you nervous, gonna have to brush up. I would maybe contact an old teacher from high school, an old professor, a friend, and just start the process. Just get those gears turning. Math is extremely important in life and in this degree. Math is not going anywhere. At certain points during this degree, you're gonna be like, am I going to school for math or computer science? Like, I am so tired of doing math. This is crazy. I just want it to stop. Brush up on it. You're gonna need to know it. It may also be a good idea to brush up on physics. Just watch a couple YouTube videos. Computer science degrees usually require physics. If you can, or if you have a friend who's already taken the degree at a school, ask them what classes that they had to take. There's not always an exact breakdown of the classes online because they want you to apply, which costs usually $50. To meet with a counselor to see the actual breakdown of it, but do your best to investigate or ask a friend who's already currently going to school. You're going to want to have an idea of what classes you need. That way you can say, oh man, I have to take all the way up to, Calc 3, or wow, that's a lot of physics. I don't quite know if I'm capable of that. These are things you need to start thinking about. On top of that, are you going to be working at the same time you're going to school? Only go part-time. Maybe just start with one class. What's right for you? That's what you need to think about. Is one class right for me? I haven't been in school in 8 years. Maybe I'll just do one. Maybe I'll just try to knock out pre-calc. The next semester I'll try to just do calculus. That's totally doable. Try to figure out what's manageable based on, your lifestyle right now. Are you living alone, single? You got an apartment that you got to pay rent for, electricity, all that good stuff? Probably part-time would just be good for you. Or are you at home? Are you able to take on a little bit more responsibility? Maybe full-time's for you. Kind of think back to the high school days. How good of a student were you? And that brings up another point. How exactly do you learn? Everyone learns a little bit different. My one friend Mike just writes down the formulas for math 100 times. 50 times before bed, 50 times in the morning. For me, I have to come up with some kind of special or funny saying to memorize the formula. Another thing, too, that I realized is I'm not always memorizing the formula or the way to solve the problem. I remember the moment in time when I worked on these things because I'm always constantly working on stuff. I bring my school stuff with me to work. I've got 2 15-minute breaks. Great, I'll knock out a couple problems. I bring my stuff with me to the doctor's office. I know I'm going to be sitting in the chair waiting for 20 minutes. I'm going to knock out some stuff. Right here, this guy, I've done so much math on this bed. I have passed out with my math notebooks. And when I'm taking the test, it's not that I'm like, oh yeah, I totally just remember that weird, funky formula. No, I remember sitting on this bed just knocking out problems. And in my mind, I'm teleported back onto my bed. I've got my notebook here. I can check out all the stuff. And I remember the moment me doing it. I don't remember just by memorizing, if that makes sense. Maybe that's how you're going to learn too, but just learn how you learn. Learn what's best for you. Maybe just doing it once or twice is totally fine. Maybe you're I'm going to write it out 100 times. Maybe you're a whiteboard person, whatever. Separate note, get a whiteboard. Having a whiteboard is awesome. It's nice to be able to knock out stuff or just write down your goals for the day. Lastly, build good habits now. You're not going to want to, try to build good habits and juggle school. Like right now, make sure you're checking your email every single day, because when you start school, that's super important. What happens if your professor's sick and they email you at 8 in the morning, right? And you got up late, you rushed to school, you got there, no one's here. What's going on? Let me check my email. Wow, this dude's sick. I didn't even need to come in today. You have to check your email every night, every day. So start doing that with your personal email. If you want to take it a step farther, make a school-related email, right? So if you need to file financial aid or something like that, you have an email that's like your first name dot last name dot school stuff at gmail.com. That way all your school stuff gets funneled there instead of lost somewhere in your general email in between the Twitch notifications and the Amazon orders and all that good stuff. Get a sleep cycle. I have always stayed up late. Always. I've always been a night owl. So while it may not be the best sleep schedule ever, I'm in bed by 12 and I'm up, you know, by 8, 9, maybe 10. It depends. But I try to be in bed by 12, and I'm not really a morning person. I had to come to peace with that. So all my classes are in the afternoon. Like, I know darn well Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, whatever day, I'm gonna be up late. It's just me. It's just how my body is wired. So that's the other thing. If you're like, dude, I'm up every day, 5:30 a.m., cool. Maybe take some morning classes. You know, really get to know yourself, and you know what you like. If you like to sleep in, take afternoon classes. It's not a big deal. Do it from 4 to 6 so you miss all the rush hour traffic at 5. Plan around the day, plan around society. Lastly, if you're a big drinker or a big smoker, try to take a week off. If you can't do it, try to take 3 days off. If you can't do it, just try to take 1 day off. Because when you're in the classroom, your focus has to be the classroom. It can't be, oh man, I really need a smoke, or I really need a drink. You have to have clarity. You have to go in there with a good mind, and you have to be able to focus. So try your best to break these bad habits before you even get in the classroom. If you can do it now, you can do it during school. I appreciate you guys sticking around. That's some advice for, before you even get to school. I hope you found it helpful. If you think you might want to go back and you want to just pitch your idea to me, you can reach me at nikolai518@gmail.com. Let me know what degree you want to go for. Let me know why, and maybe throw in a couple companies that you want to work for, and why it's important to you, and why you think this would be a good improvement to your current life. Thanks, and I'll see you next time.